Professional chefs of Reddit, what do you eat when you eat at home? Do you make proper food similar quality as when at work, or do you just grab something cheap and or easy? Something not as good as at work, but still better than the average meal of most people. When I worked the line, the last thing I wanted to do after cooking for 10 hours was go home and cook more. If I didn't eat leftovers at work, it would be fast food or microwave bachelor chow when I got home. Now that I've switched careers and only have to cook when I want to, I love making fancy stuff at home. Professional chef here. Last thing you want to do when you get home is cook. A lot of what I make at work is very rich and fatty, a lot of butter and heavily salted everything. I honestly gained a few pounds just testing and tasting our menu. I wrap pretty healthy at home. Basically a salad with some salmon I grabbed from work, but always with potato chips. Gotta have my potato chips. My professional chef X ordered takeout or ate the leftovers he brought home from work. Sometimes cooked. I eat your everyday junk food. Ex-chef here. Now since I got more time, with my current job, I like to be a bit creative and cook nice things, otherwise I'd go for the quickest thing to do like tuna pasta or order at the closest fast food joint. This right here. Also former head chef and chef in general, I ate a ton of cereal and Lipton sidekicks. Spouse is a chef. He cooks very different food for himself at home compared to what he serves in our restaurant. We have different diets and usually cook separate meals for ourselves. He tends to make rich, southern Chinese style soups for himself. Lots of noodles, dried peppers, vegetables, tofu, fish, etc. He's not Chinese, but cooked in a high-end Sichuan restaurant for part of his career and found that the food agrees with him. It's also something he can put together relatively quickly after work, and we have Chinese market near our home. He makes big batches of broth overnight, portions it out for the week, then heats up broth with peppers, noodles, veggies, tofu, etc. when he gets home, and that's dinner. Other than that, it's simple pasta dishes or rice and beans with roasted vegetables. I used to be friends with a chef who worked for a high-end restaurant. After work, he'd make something easy. On his days off he'd usually make something a bit more fancy. My family has a restaurant and we usually just ate in the restaurant and cooked what we would also cook for the guests. I don't live with my dad anymore, but if he eats at home instead of the restaurant, he either takes home a pizza he made or it's just bread and cheese. Older brother is a professional chef. Generally speaking, he prefers to eat simple, quick, cheap food when he's at home. No sous vide vention with gently molested potatoes, more fish sticks and French fries for dinner. Greater than gently molested potatoes, hand over mouth, hand over mouth, hand over mouth. I think he's taking the piss out of menu wording. An afterthought of venison, with gently molested potato, an argument of vegetables, and a discussion of artichoke. Red wine jus. Chefs don't have time for fancy stuff at home. My chef likes tamales and cereal at home. We also go get taco truck food all the time. The only things I ate when I was a chef was noodles and garlic bread. And I ate both of those standing up. Never again. Not a professional chef, but I own a mobile food van and spend every day cooking. Does that count? Any cooked food that I have left over will tend to be my main meal at home. I abhor wasting food. It's one of the few things I regard as a sin. If I don't have anything left, I'll make myself something simple and hearty, maybe a tuna salad sandwich or a quick spag bol. My main weakness is dessert. I spend a lot of time baking and will often make a tiramisu or coffee cake just so I have something sweet in. It depends. I own a restaurant and I'm not head chef anymore. I just jump in when we're busy. When I have time at home I like to make similar quality food, but usually different cuisine. If I've actually been working in the kitchen all day, I come home and eat toast or noodles. The last thing I want to do is cook. Edit. One thing I definitely don't do at home is give a shit about the presentation. Second edit. I think this would also depend a lot on what kind of restaurant you work in. My place isn't super fancy. How have you edited it twice without any comments yet? Smile. Make a third edit just for me please. Chef here, it really depends on my mood when I get home or on my way home. Sometimes I will stop for chicken wings and other times when I get home I will have a bowl of cereal. It's cold and comforting after a day in the kitchen. Most of the time it's just simple healthy dishes that nourish me. Trying to eat better and not drink as much. Started going back to the gym again, so protein shakes are a must. I am a chef. It depends what I feel like. Apart from the alcohol/substance addictions, lack of sleep, pale skin, and dark eyes, we really are just like other folks. So sometimes I want a kebab or fish and chips, but mostly I cook at home for myself and my partner. I wouldn't really do the dishes I do at work as I don't have the kit, vac pack machines, thermos mixers, dryers etc., but we eat well, and mostly using inexpensive cuts for comfort foods in winter such as pork belly, beef shin and lamb shoulder. I think cooking should be a proper part of the school curriculum. It's not that hard or time consuming to eat fresh and well, and it's cheaper and better for your well-being than buying processed ready meals. I get depressed seeing things on the shelves such as all-day breakfast in a can, ready-made mashed potato etc. I took home economics for granted in school. As a former FO employee I try and cook when I can. A can of soup I'm too lazy to pour into a bowl and heat up, chased with a beer, till I eat like a professional chef. Make same or higher quality but no stress with plating. I have a number of badass chef mates and we tend to just look at the kitchen and pantry and pull stuff out. Make it taste good and eat. Smaller kitchen makes it easier to get everything in the right temp range at the right time and source meals, as in the original meal as prepared traditionally, especially this, delights chefs. Professional chef here. I cook something of restaurant quality about once a week, but usually I just eat simply. Spaghetti with jarred sauce and broccoli is my go-to. Anything easy and mindless to prepare. I also never sit down to eat when I'm at home. Always hovering over the counter. I just don't like it after 15 years of doing it at work. It's even gotten to the point where I prefer to sit at high top tables or the bar when at a restaurant BC it's as close to standing as I can get tongue. My dad attended chef school in Czech for quite a while and was a chef as well. He makes normal food most of the while but just adds something fancy. Sometimes he likes to flex and makes a big gourmet Czech dish, so it varies. Former sous chef. Back then it was usually quick plus cheap, and I had access to a lot of cheap kimchi because it was a Korean place. Kimchi-based rice bowls, fried rice, noodles, kimchi quesadillas are bomb. Alternatively, lots of sandwiches and frozen pizzas. Sometimes on days off I'd make a big pot of stew to eat the rest of the week. I'd pull out the fancy shit when cooking for others sometimes. Thanksgiving got, and still gets, a lot of attention and effort. Hookups usually got pancakes or croque madams with homemade sourdough for breakfast. Chamkaijen for late night snacking in a lot of scenarios, but I only had so much energy, so those were only on days off. All of this was supplemented by low amounts of calories from alcohol. I'm a professional baker and a restaurant-trained cook, and sometimes I make really high-effort meals like fresh-made pasta and sauce, cast iron, butter-basted steaks, etc. Tonight I'll do butter and herb salmon, with spicy rice and some veg, pretty easy. Sometimes I eat popcorn and Gatorade for supper, though lol, after 9 hours of sweating and no time for a break I just need salt and simplicity. Former restaurant cook and bakery manager here, pretty much the same. But I can't remember a time when I didn't eat most of my meals at work anyway. 5 to 6 days a week and 12-hour days just made it easier to cook at work. I'm not a chef, but my husband was for almost 15 years. He likes to make nice meals and cheap/easy meals too. Regardless of how much effort he puts in, everything tastes good. Especially since his career change, he wants to cook at home more than he used to. Where are all of these cooks finding time to eat at home? My cousin is a pro chef. Since he finds it exhausting to constantly prepare fancy food at work, at home he literally eats stir-fried and pan-fried stuff. Doesn't even bother to add spices and flavor. Most chefs I've known eat fast food a lot. Generally speaking, the better the level of dining they work in, the worse the fast food. Best restaurant I ever worked in, they were eating Taco Bell most nights. Chef here. When I'm at home I eat one of two extremes. Something delivered or incredibly simple like a box of mac and cheese or a frozen pizza, or I'm cooking something I've never cooked before that tends to be complex with high-end ingredients because I want to try it out. What I don't cook is stuff in the middle. I don't remember the last time I made myself a burger or a steak or some box pasta with a simple sauce or something. If I'm putting any amount of time into the cooking, it's going to be because I want to try something new. Not a chef, but I am a professional geologist. My rock garden at home is just some bullshit basalt. Who needs to put in the work at home, right? I'm a chef and a geologist. I eat like shit and never participate in going for hikes or camping trips. My two jobs satisfy both of those things for me, so really all I do on my personal free time is watch YouTube and smoke weed. 2 words: fish finger. My roommate is a chef and she gets HelloFresh. She can't be bothered cooking properly when she gets home. But when she does cook for a special occasion at home or something, the food is amazing.